So when fireworks or thunderstorms are going on, are there things pet owners can do to help manage their phobia or their anxiety?
So I guess that what we do for our pets depends on the level of fear or anxiety or phobia that they're showing. So for a lot of animals, just being able to be inside is really helpful. So if you've got a dog or cat that can be inside, bringing them inside during a storm or before fireworks is a really good idea. It's dampens down some of your awareness of what's going on outside. You can have music playing or white noise playing, just again to try and dampen down the awareness of what's going on outside. For a lot of pets, if they're near people, they feel better. Mm-hmm. So, it's like being near your safety teddy bear. You've got your owner there and you feel a little bit safer, a little bit more secure. So being inside is a really, really good idea. Some of the other things that you can do depends on, again, your particular animal and how stressed they get. There are things like thunder shirts, which are jackets that you can put on that put sort of pressure around the body, that are designed to reduce anxiety in things like thunderstorms and fireworks, and they can work really well for some dogs. They don't work for every dog, but they can be really helpful for some. Making sure the dog's and cat have a safe place to go to, having somewhere that the animal knows is a safe, comfortable place to be. A mat or a crate or a room, somewhere that you've set up well before the storm as being a safe, definable place for the animal to go to. And you make that safe place by having it as a place where good things happen. You go there, you get treats, you get toys, you've got a comfy bed. It's a nice place to go. It's never a punishment. It's never a timeout. It's never a bad place to be. This place is always good and always comforting. And then when a storm or a fireworks event happen, it's really important the dogs and cats can get to those areas. So if you've got your safe place inside and the dog's outside, the dog needs to be able to get inside to get to its safe place. Otherwise, you need to have a safe place outside as well, so that they just can get into that area where they feel better.
During a thunderstorm or a series of fireworks, is it wise for pet owners to comfort their dog and sort of, pat them, cuddle them, comfort them in that way during the event?
People often worry that reassuring their pet when they're starting to be anxious in a storm or fireworks is going to make things worse. And look, generally, no, it's not going to make things worse, because it's really hard to reinforce fear. No one wants to experience fear. When you're feeling fearful and worried, or if you're having a panic attack, being reassured through that isn't going to make it worse. It's not going to make it more likely that you do it again. So it's perfectly reasonable to comfort and reassure your dog if you need to do that. And often they're going to be better if they're near you. What we don't want to do is punish the dog for being stressed, or to make it an unpleasant experience for it, because that could make it worse. But we're not going to make it worse by reassuring. What can be really helpful, though, depending on how the dog's going, if your dog's only a little bit worried, you see if you can make it fun. So turn it in, instead of this being, I'm scared because it that sounds strange out there or something weird's going on in the environment, you can turn it into a game. If the dog's happy enough, then play a game, throw some food around, pull out your favourite toy, throw a ball, do something really fun. If the owner's calm and relaxed, that will help the dog. If the dog needs comfort, it's okay to give comfort. If the dog will play, make it fun. So try to build a positive association with that scary thing.
Is it also a good idea if pet owners know, obviously with things like fireworks on New Year's, they're scheduled, is it probably a good idea then for pet owners to either be home themselves or have a trusted person home that their pet recognises on those events?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I think for a lot of people who have a pet with a storm or firework fear, they will tend to organise their lives around that, which is a great thing to be able to do. So yes, if you know that your animal is going to be scared of fireworks, it's a good night to be at home, or to make sure someone else is at home. So you can have the dog inside with you, and you can hopefully keep it safe and keep it feeling as relaxed as is possible. It's not a lot of fun for you or the animal if you get home from a nice night out on New Year's Eve and discover that your dog's jumped the back fence and gone missing, or has injured itself in panic. Preparing for that in advance by making sure someone's around is a very good idea.
Another option for pets and pet owners is the possibility of medication for their pet to help cope with their phobia. When would be a good time for pet owners, if that was a road that they did want to go down, when would be a good time for them to talk about that with their vet?
now is a really good time to do that. Don't do it on New Year's Eve, because it's really doesn't give us enough time to help. So medication is often really helpful for dogs that have got phobias and severe fear of fireworks, and the same with storms. And the reason that medication is helpful is because these behaviours, when they're really extreme, this is a phobia. It's an abnormal response to this situation, and dogs don't learn that it's not scary. So each time they're exposed, as I was saying before, every time they're exposed to this thing, they don't realise that it was okay the first time. They continue to think it's scary, or they think it's scarier each time. So they're not actually learning, and they're not learning because the way their brain is working in that situation is not quite normal, and they're not able to realise that nothing bad happened through that event. So they're not going to get better on their own, and they are going to be experiencing a high level of stress and anxiety, and that may mean that they're going to damage themselves, or they're going to damage property, or they're going to escape, or they're just going to be experiencing this severe stress and anxiety, which is horrible for them. So medication can be really helpful, and it often is really helpful for dogs with storm phobias and firework phobias. The thing about using medication is that we need to do a little bit of work to find the right medication. So we don't know which medication is going to work, and we don't know which dose is going to work, and we need to do a little bit of work on that before the event. So now is a great time to have a chat with your vet, and you can look at doing some trials of different medications and different doses, and find something that takes the edge off anxiety and helps your animal to cope through that situation. So when we look at using medication, we don't use sedatives, we don't use personality changes, we just use anti-anxiety medication. So the aim is simply to reduce anxiety so that the animal doesn't experience that really phobic response.
And I guess another thing is that if it's a pet owner's first time, perhaps, the pet's had an adverse reaction from a previous storm or a previous set of fireworks, the vet would also look into doing a behaviour assessment and that type of thing prior to going down that avenue as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So it's always appropriate to do a bit of an assessment and make sure that we understand what level of distress the animal is showing. Sometimes dogs that are firework phobic or noise phobic may well have other issues that go along with that, so making sure that we don't have anything else that we need to be addressing is a really good idea. Yep. And then your vet can make a diagnosis and then a treatment. And treatment of any behaviour problem involves looking at some management strategies, considering behaviour modification, and there is some behaviour modification work that you can do around storms and fireworks, and then having to think about whether medication is appropriate, and if it is, then using it appropriately.
Yeah. Are there a range of products that pet owners could look into if they were going down the medication option, or is it just purely tablets and that type of thing to help them manage that anxiety?
Yeah, there are a range of different things that you can look at doing, and I think for any animal that's got a level of stress and anxiety, it's worth considering the whole range of options and using whatever suits that animal and whatever the owners are comfortable using. So looking at things like thunder shirts is helpful. Some of the pheromone products can be really effective, so different pheromone products for dogs and cats, and your vet will be able to help you out with those things. And different forms. There are pheromones that come as plug-into-the-wall diffusers, and for dogs there are collar forms, and that can take the edge off anxiety. For probably 75% of dogs, it may not be enough. If your dog has a really extreme panic with fireworks or with storms, pheromone may not be enough to help, but it's definitely worth trying. And then if that's not enough and we need to do something more to keep the dog relaxed and safe and for the dog's welfare to be okay through that experience, then we talk about using anti-anxiety medications, and yes, most of the time those are going to be tablets.